Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. And if you are new here, please subscribe. And on this video, let us talk about why the ride-hailing are struggling on the Kenyan market. Why ride-hailing are really struggling. A business that was once the top business that everyone was willing to invest on is today struggling. So this one will take us back to 2015, 2016 when they were introduced. Now, the first company to join the Kenyan market was Uber back in 2015. And Uber were very good. They were the best. The charges were good. And everyone was willing to join the industry. Even though some the old taxis were trying to fight them, they were very strong to maneuver and to make sure that the industry is working for them. And later came in 2016, Bolt came in as a competitor, as a second app to join the Kenyan industry. Now, that's where things went hard for Uber. Because Uber, at the first time, Uber as a company, they came when they were the only means of transport was boda, which are motorbikes, and matatus, which are public service vehicles, the buses. These were the major sources of transport. So when Uber came, Kenyans felt like it was one of the best things, just requesting a car just on your phone. And it was good. They introduced the bigger cars, the bigger engines, the 13cc, the 2000cc, and more. So when the competition came in 2018, Bolt now came in full force, trying to navigate the Kenyan market. And the first place where Bolt fought Uber big time was when Bolt introduced boda. Because Bolt were the first to introduce boda, and that was a blow to Uber as a company because they never recognized boda as a means of transport. Instead, Uber recognized bodas only as a delivery machine. But most Kenyans were already recognizing boda as a means of transport. So Bolt came with boda, and that was a game changer to them because boda, now Kenyans have boda and also a taxi on the same app. Instead of having a boda's person's phone number and also a taxi guy's phone number. So this gave everyone more trust to Bolt. With just one app, you could request a variety, different classes of cars. But Uber, they had Uber Eats, which was also seems to be another company on its own, and also a taxi on its own. And that was very difficult to most Kenyans because they felt like they cannot have two apps with the same name, but for different jobs. So Uber first combined both Uber Eats and Uber Boda to the same app to the driver, not to the customers, and that was difficult to most customers. So in 2018, Uber felt the pain and introduced boda, but it was too late. Kenyans were already moving on with Bolt, and also Bolt introduced almost 50% promo to their clients. Meaning, if a ride is 400, the client would pay 200, and the remaining one would be paid by Bolt. And that was also good to most drivers. So drivers started to forget about Uber and now join Bolt because of their prices. And that didn't even last longer. As the time goes, Bolt went ahead to challenge the market. With Uber now feeling the pressure, they tried to introduce their bonuses. There are a lot of things just to bring back the trust. Also, Uber used to have some things like cancellation fee, waiting fee, but this one didn't feel good with didn't go well with the Kenyan customers. They felt like you cannot charge me 100 shillings after the driver has cancelled the ride and I've not been carried. I've not boarded any car. So this was also painful, but Bolt came without waiting fee. So these are some of the things that Bolt used to lure the Kenyan market. And also the good pay and half payment plus good pay to the drivers. But that one didn't last for long. As the time goes, Bolt started to gain more trust from the customers, and drivers had no choice but to follow. With the time, as the time go, Uber were trying to maintain their quality. They were trying to maintain their quality by even introducing some charges, removing the charges, like the waiting charges, the cancellation fee. They were now forced to change them. But it was too late. The Kenyan market were already trusting Bolt a lot. So as the time goes, Uber felt the pressure. They ended up now following Bolt all the time. If Bolt does this, but also Bolt got it easy to deal with Uber, because dealing with Uber was very difficult, because Uber, they had to make their rules from international markets. They have to make calls to their head office so that they change something. And sometimes that one takes like a month or two or even 3. But to Bolt, it seems like they can even change with the situations. Meaning, if in case there is a change anywhere, or there is a demonstration by the drivers, they can even change their prices immediately. And that made Uber to remain behind in everything that they do. Up to date, even today, the fuel prices are high. Bolt have communicated that they adjusted like 6% on top of what drivers are earning. But Uber, for almost a month, almost 2 months, they have not changed anything. They have not communicated. And that is why things change. But now comes the Corona time. Corona came, and this is where Uber got it difficult. Uber, at some point, they were very, very easy to block the drivers permanently from their app in case of any small thing, because they have their international rules. While Bolt, they suspend drivers for up to 10 years, sometimes for up to 10 years. They suspend. If you are suspended, if your suspension time lapse, you will come back and work. With Uber, if they block you, you are blocked permanently. So that made Uber to lose many drivers, because Kenyan drivers were sometimes trying to use some short styles to steal the bonus from them. And in case of that, that was a fraud, and they will block you permanently. So Uber ended up having few drivers, while Bolt, the drivers they suspended for fraud, they ended up coming back with the time. And sometimes when things were difficult, Bolt would make a decision to bring back some of their drivers that they felt had no bigger issues. The issues that may kill their name. So Bolt, they have always been very fast to change their system up to date. So as the time goes, Uber ended up losing it. Then came in when Corona came, every Kenyan was very desperate to earn a living. Life was very tough. People lost jobs, and everyone with some money was anyone who had some money was planning to invest it anywhere. And the only place that they would get these jobs or investments was only on Uber business. And then the market was flooded, because most Kenyans were now joining the ride-hailing industry every time now and then. And we had a lot of drivers. Bolt moved very fast and reduced their prices to almost zero, almost $1. The starting fee is even lower than $1, not even half $1. And Uber went slowly, and followed them. But it was too late. So as we speak, I think Uber has really failed. And also, what happened to the ride-hailing industry is that both Bolt, as we speak in 2026, both Uber and Bolt are now struggling. The reason being, Bolt were very fast. After dealing with Uber, they felt like they can even kill the matatu, the public transport sector. But that sector is very tough, and also it is a well-planned system that you cannot just break like that. And that's where they went wrong. To an extent, they ended up losing trust from the drivers, because they were going to be they reduce their prices to go lower than the public transport. And that's why Bolt, to date, they have a problem. But as usual, since the competition is very stiff, even Uber had no option but to follow. You understand? So as we speak, Bolt has managed to kill to fight the Matatu, but not that much. But things are not running well with them from the driver's side because the drivers are suffering. So things are not good. And I think with the time, both companies might lose it. Hello guys, I always share Uber business tips. Please subscribe to our channel, give us a like, leave us a comment. Thank you.